Did you just try to talk? Did you just for a second? Did you just go to say the first thing on? You know, it's again. That's the cardinal sin. That's the first commandment. Thou shalt not speak before Alex.
I almost sneezed.
And thou shalt not speak after Alex. And thou shalt not speak over Alex. Those are the first 3 commandments. Well, hey, you're starting to follow him now at least. Yeah. What did I want to talk about on this one, man? I feel like I should have things more properly planned out to an extent, but then also. Where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? Because the best cast, they don't seem that planned out, do they? You can talk now. God damn it, you look so awkward. When you have a face, when you're thinking I can't respond, you're just like looking like a fucking scared child. It's really hard to deal with.
Because then I'm panicking from when you do allow me to speak, and I blow it.
And you do, because you don't say anything.
Because I'm terrified. You put so much pressure on the talk. Because every time I do talk, you fucking yell at me.
It's not this. Do I need to replace you, dude?
Apparently,
it's not. It can't be this hard to figure out. I've seen so many. We watched the Lakers thing. Oh, fine. Okay, talk. Hand down.
Okay.
Speak.
I am speaking. You asked me at this point.
Anything.
Anything. What were we talking about before?
Anything.
We were talking about the Lakers show before. No, the Patrick Dempsey thing is what I want to talk about. I stopped that. Okay, the Patrick Dempsey thing. I was going to say, speaking of Patrick Dempsey, he sucks at mobsters. That would have made more sense if we continued it better from before instead of this whole long debate. Fucking you can't you can't tell me not to talk. Then get pissed at me the second I don't speak when you want me to speak, and then I go to speak and you fucking reprimand me and then all the other shit you do, and then look at me like I'm the big fucking asshole so I couldn't get the conversation going. Let's just save it for after the podcast. We shouldn't be fighting.
Let's not fight on the cast, man. I'm sorry. Let's do that after the cast, man. All right, fine. I'll save the day. Okay, I guess I'll be the hero as usual. Okay, man.
Like you don't fucking.
Do you want to hear a really random anecdote that I remembered? When I was in 4th grade, okay, we're playing kickball. All right, it's the JAE. All right, it's me and this kid from my class whose name I can't remember, and I wish I could because it'd be really funny to embarrass him. Okay, I can remember his face. He looks like. So we're in 4th grade. So you're 9 years. We're 9 years old, and he looks like he has a face like he's the annoying kid who's friends with the main character who's also a little kid in like a movie. You know what I mean? Like the sidekick annoying friend who the parents are like, why is he eating dinner with us again?
Yeah.
That character?
Yep.
That's his face. This blonde hair, blonde like, kind of buzz, kind of spiky hair. It's like very short, but a little spiky. And we're playing kickball. And I think I'm playing second base or third base, wherever I am. He comes over to the base I'm at, and he's like, the way he stands, he's like going back on the balls of his feet, like kind of back and forth, like and just like waiting. He's got his hands on his hips, like a superhero pose. It's like, hey buddy, he's like, you think maybe you could tie my shoes for me? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, never quite learned actually. And I was like, dude, what are you saying to me right now?
Did he actually talk that way too?
I swear to God, in that exact cadence, he was like, hey buddy, you want to tie my shoes for me? You never quite learned. And he was like trying to brush it off as like a normal thing. And I kind of just stared at him, and I was like so uncomfortable. I'm like, I guess I'm tying your fucking shoes. And also I thought too, I was like, bro, there was a teacher on first base playing. You couldn't have asked the teacher on first base to tie your shoes. You had to ask your peer.
I'm amazed you actually did it. That's a pussy thing I would do. I feel like you would just spit on him or something.
Bro, I was so because I was so uncomfortable. I remember even then I was like, bro, you should not have told me this because I'm gonna burn you for it one day. And apparently I sat on that grenade for 20 years. Like now is the time on the cast on the hot one, you know.
This is the one that takes off because of the story.
Well, I remember his name. He's in my 4th grade class, which just shows how forgettable he is as a human being. He was in my 4th grade class. It wasn't some kid who was in my 4th grade who I saw on the playground. He was in my class for an entire 10 months of the year, or 9 months, however long school is. He was sitting in I'm pretty sure he sat near me. I think he might have sat in my little block of 4, where it was like 4 desks together, all facing each other. I think he sat at the block across me. I don't know what his fucking name was. That class was such shit. Dude, I'm so mad at Mom for this still. Fuck you, Mom. Okay, fuck you. It sounded like the second fuck you sounded like Brian Johnson, where he's like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
The singer for AC/DC.
That's what I thought you meant initially. I was like, when does he say that?
Yeah. No, Mom fucking heard some dumb shit from one of her dumb shit friends about my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Jackson, being a cunt. And so literally 2 days before school started, first off, this is how proactive of a parent she is. She waits till the day before school to realize, oh, there's a problem here. I should take care of it.
That's been a consistent.
Yeah, that's a go-to.
It's a consistent parenting method.
You think I'm a fucking loser? Why do you think I'm a fucking loser? Wait till the last goddamn like a procrastinator. But no, She waits till, like, the day of or the day before. Literally, it was like 2 days before school starts. She's like, my son will not be in the teacher's class. All the things I'm hearing about her are true. And they were like, yeah, that's great. Classes start in 2 days, so they're full. Like, we've already kind of mapped out how these classes are going to be for the year, right?
I didn't know about this.
And then mom was like, no, you're changing my son. Then they're like, all right, we'll change your son. So they put me into the way the JAE was. It had 2 pods in the JAE. They're called the pods.
Yeah, I remember that.
So there were each class, it was 3, 4, and 5, and each grade had their own hall. So the grade 3, they're all the classrooms for grade 3 were all together on one long corridor, and then 4 is a corridor and 5 is a corridor. The funny thing is, I went to that school for 3 years. I have not a clue. If you told me to draw right now, I could perfectly draw you the entire 3rd grade wing, the drop-off area, the cafeteria, both gymnasiums where the bathrooms were and everything else, the entrance, the principal's office, the nurse's office, the library, all... And then that back one, so again, for everyone who's listening, the way it was set up was the 4th and 5th grade had their own wings. I don't know where those were in the school. I never went to those, okay? Because I was in the pods for both years. It was pretty sick. And the pods were on basically the middle of nowhere, just like this empty hallway in school. Nothing, literally an empty hallway. There's only 2 doors in the whole hallway, which is creepy because it ran like 200 feet, 300 feet. Okay?
Yep.
Can you give a little more energy?
I'm following
Give a little more energy. Thank you. So... these 2 pods where it's 4-door classrooms, right? Each one has 4 classrooms. Mom just got me moved from the first pod door to the second pod door. So the teacher she wanted me to have, I still had because we switched for 1 class a day. So her brilliant approach to take me out of this class resulted in me still having the teacher who turned out to be my favorite teacher, who turned out to be hot as fuck, who turned out to also like me a lot. I could have been fucking like, I could have been like breaking news like fucking 4th grader gets with hot 38-year-old teacher. But unfortunately, that was robbed of me. And I got to go sit with the fucking Tweedle fucking dumbass who I didn't like from my teachers, Mrs. Mitchell and Mrs. fucking stupid Whoa. I was going to say a Regent, but that's a little mean, all right? She was a teacher, all right? She taught me knowledge. I can't be a total jerk here, okay?
The fact that you were so farly down upon
a person who provided me with knowledge.
Fucking disgusting, bro.
I can't remember her name, but I think it was Mitchell. I think it was Mrs. Mitchell and Mrs.
It was Mrs. Reject. You said it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Her husband, I remember her husband, I should remember this. Her husband apparently did AC, and she used to come into school every single day complaining about how her house didn't have AC. Because her husband was like a cheap piece of shit.
Oh, shit.
And like he installed AC into houses, like he'd always like, next summer, sweetheart, and he would just never do it.
How expensive are AC units?
But she would complain like winter she was fine, but in the early spot of fall when it's still hot out, and by springtime she was like an angrier teacher saying like it's so hot in my house, and then she was saying, but then apparently like her husband installed some like this is back in 2009. Apparently he installed like something in the shower. It was like an iPad that controlled the shower.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was necessary to him, but like having AC was in the summertime on an island wasn't important. He's like, go for a fucking swim, bitch. I don't have to tell you.
Exactly. You're on an island.
Go for a fucking swim. It was pretty, I think her name was, what was her name? I know it was Mrs. Mitchell. She wasn't even the real teacher. There was like a teacher, and the funny thing too is that this is actually the reason I'm in the story in the first place. Mom took me out of the teacher who was apparently mean, and she put me in the class with like delinquents.
Nice. Because
that's the only one that had room yet. So that's why that one had 2 teachers, and those kids were fucking like deviants. This one kid, dude, this fucking
that's
loser.
So fucked up. She did that to you.
This guy, right? He became like a SoundCloud rapper from that class. This kid Nico, this fucking dick.
That's pretty cool.
And he became like a SoundCloud rapper in high school, and then was like DMing me, included like every person's like, hey, can you just share this? And I was like, all right, cool, man. I liked a couple. I think I may even post one on my story. It'd be nice.
Uh-huh.
And then he got an interview on like some podcast.
Oh yeah.
That was like it's not cool at all. It's like Long Island's underground rap scene, which again, like who's listening to this, right? But he got on like something, and after that, he literally like removed everyone off of Instagram. Like he thought like, oh, I've made it. So he became like nice, too good for everyone. He became a huge asshole. He like removed everyone who was listening to all of his stuff, unfollowed everyone, deleted all the photos, untagged himself from everything. He's like, I'm an artist now. Like he made himself a whole new page and everything. And then I'm pretty sure everyone stopped listening to his shit. And then I'm pretty sure he was like, oh wait, the people who listen to my stuff were the people who were, oh fuck, it's pretty cool.
Did he sound like an actual SoundCloud rapper? Or
He sounded like whatever you're picturing the worst possible rap to sound like when you're like, oh god. But you're thinking like really like
That shit Drewski
yeah.
made us listen to.
Huh?
That shit Drewski made us listen
Yeah, like
to.
Trippie Redd, that kind of stuff. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Like there's some really shitty rap music. But hey, man, he got on that podcast, and it was so funny too. That cast was filmed in a basement, like fucking losers. Imagine filming a podcast in a basement.
Yeah.
But it was literally like where it was like an empty basement. It was like they went to it was some place in like, I don't know, Coram, some little crack den in Coram, right?
With 5 guys.
What?
It's a callback to our last episode in a crackdown with 5 guys.
Oh yeah. Well, technically there was a group of guys, like a whole group of guys. It was like a knockoff The Breakfast Club on. There's like just like a shitty rap show they were doing, and it was like an all white room with like a full out table, and they're all sitting there, and but they were taking it so like on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious do you think we take this?
We take
Internally, maybe a 10, but like
internally a 10, but I feel like
externally like a 2.
Yeah.
These guys were like as if they were on 60 Minutes. Okay, like this is a serious business venture. This is the big time. Mm-hmm. We are the foundation of rap music. Like we are
the foundation of the Long Island's underground rap music.
And like I remember watching the highlights of the clip he posted, and like these guys were talking like, so like what's your like, you know, let's just get serious for a second for people who want like what's your
writing process?
Yeah, what's your process like? What is it? What you know? What do you do? He's like, well, you know, it's actually kind of tough. You know, I do the beats first.
Interesting.
And then once there's that, I start to come up with like a hook. Mm-hmm. And then I actually have a lot of like random stuff I've written down, like random rhymes. And then I'll sometimes, you know, look through some of those. I need some inspiration. And I'll try to workshop that around the beat. And they're like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy, dude.
That's how you do that?
And it was like these people, not only you guys fucking losers with shitty music, but I sound really like I'm really offended. I guess I didn't get invited to the underground rap of Long Island podcast, I guess. But these guys, I remember watching it, and like they were acting, and also they had like, it was just so lame. Because you know like those really lame podcasts where it's like 7 guys, but only like 2 of them talking. It's pretty much just 5 guys hanging out, kind of being hype men in the background.
Maybe we should get some hype men. That sounds like a pretty good idea, actually.
I think it sounds like a terrible idea. I hate that stuff. I hate when it's like, I don't mind if like they actually kind of talk, or if they're doing their jobs working, they're chiming in. But like when it's just like literally a small table in a small room, everyone's on top of each other, there's just 5 guys kind of like having their own private conversation off microphone, but in the background.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's really annoying. That's what that setup was like, is these guys who were like, you know, hey, this is DJ fucking, I can't think of a single word here. That would have been a lot better of a joke if I could have, you know, followed through on that one. I looked at the wall, and I was looking at the wallpaper. This looks like a vagina. I'm like, well, DJ Vagina's not a very funny joke to say.
DJ Vajazzy.
Is someone calling me? Why is Lunchbox got shot. I told Lunchbox we're doing the cast. And he calls me again.
Yeah, last episode when he did that, actually, I was like, what the fuck just happened to my phone?
Because I bust up.
Yeah, it is. You know, he's no longer allowed to be the editor. He's no longer allowed to be part of this painting thing with us. He can go fuck himself.
Yeah, the guy's
it's
dead.
So unprofessional.
You know what's fucked up? You know what's unprofessional, actually?
What?
I called Drewski on the phone today. Okay? Yeah. We're talking on the phone for like, it's a quick conversation. It's like a 5-minute conversation. Mm-hmm. At the end of the conversation, after I finished talking to what I'm talking about, I was like, yeah, so, you know, I said, unless there's anything you want to say, I'll let you go. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm just hanging out with Lizzie, so that's it, I'll go. And I was like, oh, all right, well, hey, man, if you want to share with her what I told you, go right ahead. Because I mentioned something about someone that she also knows. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, she heard everything. And I was like, okay, cool, man.
Fucking jerk.
And I hung up the phone, and I was telling Jake about it when we were playing. I'm like, isn't that an asshole move that I could have gone into this fucking call and been like, yo, what's up, man? How's your dumb fucking bitch of a girlfriend? Like, I could have just, like, gone in the blazing, and he's going to fucking answer a FaceTime call, leave it on the FaceTime call where she can obviously hear me as he's sitting next to her without telling. And also, why are they so weird? Why doesn't she say hi if she's next to him?
Those two are so fucking weird.
They're so fucking weird, dude.
So fucking weird.
I'll tell you this, too. One time when Andrew was staying over, and she went to see her friend who lived, like, relatively close. I think her name was Shay. She, the next day or next 2 days after we hung out, she gets dropped off at our house again so Andrew and her can drive back to the island. Yeah. And her friend drops her off, and we're all talking outside, and for some reason the responsibility of talking, even though I don't know Shay, and Shay doesn't know me, but Lizzie and Drew know each other, and Drewski and Lizzie know each other, and Lizzie and Shay know each other, and me and Andrew know each other, and Andrew knows Shay and Lizzie. For some reason, the responsibility of having a conversation falls onto me and Shay, who have never met each other before.
Nice.
Right? The people who literally don't know each other.
So what the hell did
And we're talking for like 10 minutes in the driveway about this and that.
And
it's me and her talking as him and her stand separate
ask.
from each other. Not even like standing, like he's next to me, she's next to her. They're standing separately, not talking, basically just looking at the sky as the two of us have a conversation because they're that awkward.
That's so fucking
And
weird.
then I give Andrew a hug goodbye. Then Shay gives me a hug goodbye. And Lizzie's just like, ah, and then fucking just leaves. And I was like, all right, cool. Really fun time, guys.
Fucking weird. You know what you should start doing from now on?
What?
Every time you FaceTime, you just go, who has that fucking cunt girlfriend of
I
yours?
know. I
Since
should.
he's such an asshole.
He's gonna fucking answer the phone and be like,
What
he's
if he
gonna
has something
answer
seriously
I
fucking
know!
private to talk to him about? Oh, by the way, she's hearing her.
She's
everything.
just listening, and it's like, dude, fucking say you're on. We were just
say,
walking.
oh, I
down the
can't
street. Say
talk
you're on
right now.
speakerphone. Say something. And actually,
fucking
this is the
asshole.
really weird part. Okay, I called him. He declined on the second ring. I was like, I guess he's busy. Then he calls me back. So I assumed maybe he was with her. But since why would he like called me back, left the room, and then called me back, or said, hey, by the way, I'm on the phone. Or if you didn't want to be, if you didn't want, because then I guess he could be like, well, if I say, by the way, you're on speaker, she's gonna be like, why does it matter he's on speaker? What are you hiding? But he could have done it in a very nonchalant way, like, hey man, oh, by the way, hey, say hi to Lizzie, and she, something normal.
What fucking rejects?
I know,
okay?
man.
What
Total
the fuck?
fucking rejects.
We should get shirts made up of that.
Yeah, that's actually a good
Total
idea.
fucking reject.
Yeah, we'll do it with our $0 a year salary, babe.
God, I wish I knew the next line to say.
I wasn't even referencing that.
I should. I should be the guy.
The guy who doesn't know, dude.
I wish
I wasn't
knew
referencing that
better.
though, unfortunately.
I know, but I feel like he is in what you referenced though.
He's technically in it. Unfortunately, I referenced on The Office, which he technically is in for that one episode.
Yeah, see, so
It's a Fugazi, it's a Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy. Yeah, pretty much same thing.
Yeah.
So how do we fill up another 8 minutes?
I
I went through my awesome shoe tying story of a kid, which was really weird.
Oh, I have a kickball story similar to that.
All right,
Not
man.
nearly as
Foursquare?
Yours is way funnier. Foursquare, you said? I said kickball.
I said kickball.
Yeah, fuck you. Foursquare was the fucking bee's
was.
knees. Though. Imagine how I've thought about nonstop
Dude,
for the last
you know what'd
few
be really
weeks.
cool?
I wish we remembered how to play. I don't know how to play.
I don't know. I have that same thought too. I have no idea how to play that game anymore.
We
Remember,
played
you used
that
to
game
play all the time. I
nonstop.
don't remember how to play at all.
That game was the fucking best.
You know what's funny too? I should have tied that kid. I think his name was with a D. It made me like, it wasn't David. It wasn't Damien. It wasn't Derek. It wasn't
Daniel.
Daniel. It wasn't Dylan.
Davidson.
It wasn't Darian. It wasn't Dustin. It wasn't
Darian?
Dennis. It wasn't
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Donald.
Wasn't Donald.
Dunstan.
Wasn't Dunstan.
Dexter.
Wasn't Dexter. Wasn't Demetrius.
Darius.
Wasn't Darius. Wasn't Daryl.
Oh, you said Darian already. And I said, the fuck's name Darian?
Wasn't Damien or Damon
Okay, this
or
is riveting.
Dominic. Wasn't any of those
Let's
things.
just say his name is Joe, okay?
I think it might be with a B, actually, come to think of it. Wasn't Brian. Wasn't Benjamin. But no, the point, I should have tied his fucking shoes together. How funny would that have been? Imagine if I tied that guy's shoes together and said, oh, you should book it for home.
Hey,
Like,
hey, buddy,
I'm
can
like,
you,
dude,
can you tie this
you
to
should
me?
steal this bait. You should book it for home. I just have to eat shit so already fucking dies.
Hey, buddy, can you untie this to me?
Yeah, hey,
Never
buddy,
really
hey,
learned
hey,
how.
pal. Would you tie my shoes for me? I haven't quite learned how to do that yet. I'm like, dude, we're 9 years old, bro.
So remember Anthony Anderson? Not the actor, the kid we went to school with.
The guy from Scream 4?
No, the kid we went to school with.
The guy from Romeo Must Die?
Yeah, his younger brother, the other Anthony
Oh,
Anderson. that
yeah,
went to
his
school
brother
with us.
Anthony Anderson. Yeah, yeah.
We were
Remember
playing.
Nicole Anderson?
Yeah, I had a big crush.
Yeah,
on
I
her.
had a
She
big
was
crush
such a
on her, too.
cutie.
Yeah, she was hot.
We were playing kickball, and I said something that I guess apparently offended John Vasiliadis.
Mm-hmm.
So Anthony Anderson had to defend.
Was John Vasiliadis the one who was Greek or the one with the mop head?
Both actually. He was Greek and had a mop head. He had like a
Who was-
Beatles cut.
Oh, wow. Wait, he had the Beatles cut. Yeah, that's the same guy?
Yeah.
And who was that one who had the really, like, elongated face who I thought was, like, adopted?
No, that one was John.
Feinberg?
Feinberg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty cool
Wait,
actually.
that guy was Greek, too?
No, he was Russian.
Oh. Feinberg doesn't sound very Russian. I guess he was adopted with that name.
Yeah, I don't know if that was his name.
I guess Feinberg could be.
He-
There's a lot of Jewish
He
Russian
was.
people.
He looked like James and the Giant. He looked like a Tim Burton character. That dude was like in a cool. I'm not insulting the.
No, he
kid.
looked like
was
a
cool.
fucking, like the Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those big old eyes that were too
Yeah.
big for, like, he,
He was a living
It
Tim
sounds like a
Burton
compliment,
character.
yeah. He had very like deep
It's not an
sunken
insult.
bone structures. Like he had, like, it looked like his eyes were like just deep and shallow.
Yeah, and his fucking limbs were 10 feet
Yeah,
long.
he was really elongated, like one of those people who got stretched on the stretching devices for torture.
So apparently Anthony Anderson had to be the white knight in shining armor that he is and defend John Masiatis. He came down from the horse and he kneed me in the balls. And my macho fucking response was, "I'm telling," and I fucking darted for the t-shirt.
We mentioned this, I think, 2 nights ago. You're just Mac.
Yeah, holy shit!
Literally in that one episode when they go back to the high school reunion, he's like, "Really, you're telling?" He's like, "Oh," the guy, the dickhead guy in their school, Adriano or whatever, he prints out fake coupons to buy the drinks for the drink menu. And he is like, "Can we have one?" And then he's like, "No, fuck you guys can fuck yourselves." And then Max like, "Don't worry, I got this. I'll do something." He's like, "Hey, you're not fake coupons." He starts to whine. That's what you do. You're just a little whiny bitch.
Yeah, I really am. I'm just like Mac.
It's pretty bad, man.
Yeah.
But I think I told you this too yesterday. I've been rewatching It's Always Sunny like the billionth time. I've been like tracking all my favorite episodes, or the ones that are just standouts. Each standout is like Mac does this, Mac does this, Mac's this, Mac and this, Mac and that. Mac Day.
Well, he is the main guy behind it.
He really is. I feel like I'm getting the impression more so where it's like, does Charlie Day and Charlie Day and Glenn Howard actually write anything at all? Or is he just being generous? And he's just letting them have credits.
I feel like in the beginning it was probably a nice even trade, but I feel like he's just the one.
I feel like it's his thing, and they always say like he's kind of the boss of everyone. So I feel like it's his thing entirely.
Also, I said this the other night too when we were watching it. I think his character has the most character development probably of any character across television.
He goes, it's not even. I disagree with that. It's not even character development. They've just written his character. They just randomly change who his character is.
I guess sure, it's not development. It's just rewriting a new character each season.
And I guess you really can't say being fat and being jacked are two different characters, but in a way it is because the way he acts are polar opposite. It really is a good show. This cast always wasn't that good of a cast, man. I'll be honest, it was a mid cast.
What?
Yeah, this episode was a mid one. Last episode was better. The last 5 have been better, but I guess every once in a while I know you gotta have a few humbling moments.
I thought this one was kind of enjoyable, but I guess
I don't know, man.
Fuck do I know?
This one's pretty shitty, and you're thinking like, you guys are really gonna end this one saying how shitty it was, so now no one wants to listen to the next one. And yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
It's pretty cool.
I'm sorry. Again, we went over this early in the episode. I guess we're going to end this one a little later. We're going to end this one on a little bit of rules, okay? So, thou shall not start the episode unless your name is Alex. Thou, who is not Alex, shall not end the episode. So, those are the first 2 things, okay? So, let's try this again. I started the episode. If you try to be a real little, a real little cutie today, huh? Having a little fun. Doing your little quirky things. This isn't the Robbie show, all right? It's not the Adam Friedland show, okay? There's some order to this one, all right? So yeah, I think this is a mid one. Maybe next time will be better. Maybe this is the new the new standard we've set. I hope to God not, but who knows? And I'll see you next time, guys.